Live from Brooklyn, New York, Season 4. This is Stay Busy with Armon Sadler. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Stay Busy with Armon Sadler, where we have responsible discussions on the music business and the music culture. I am so excited to be back, potting full time. We was pretty active this summer, but it still felt like I was on PTO. And, the PTO has run out. We back to work. We back in the office. I am charged up and excited to be here. And there are many reasons that I'm excited to be here. But first, of course, for any of our new listeners who don't know me, my name is Armon Sadler, vegan chorizo poppy, founder of Bald Nigga Ballers, Vibes new hip hop reporter, very exciting times. Verified now on IG, pretty crazy. I was, you could clap it over there, I guess. I felt like I was verified before I was verified, to be honest. I would tell people that I was just the most lit, unverified nigga, but now I'm here. So all you niggas who had the check long before me, I'm sorry. I've kind of just stepped over y'all like AI did Tyronn Lue. But one of the reasons that I'm excited to be here, as you know, last season, Nick, who is here in studio doing executive producing at a high level as only he does, he has stepped back into a full-time executive producer role using his gifts from TV and being a child actor and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? He's using his expertise to help on the back end and make sure that the show is as lit as possible. And I had to make sure that the person who is sitting in Nick's former seat is someone of high quality, high level. And I'm very excited because he's bald as well. You have heard this man on the Need to Know podcast. You have seen his work with the Joe Budden podcast. You have read his inspirational tweets. You have seen that Kiana Lede is following him on Twitter. You have seen him with Neo. This man is just undeniable. You've seen him everywhere. Honored to call him a friend. Honored to call him my brother. He will be a very consistent friend of the show. You will hear his voice a lot in the Busyverse. None other than my guy, SaVon Slater. Welcome, my brother. Welcome.
God damn. Talk about an intro. Wow. Thank you, man. Honestly, I feel like out of all the cool things that you listed, I think being followed by two of the people that I really rock with, that might be at the top of the list for me.
Absolutely,
so
man.
Thank you for dropping that in there. A lot of people try to, they throw the podcast that I've worked on and some of the things that I've done, but it's all about social media.
Honestly, bro.
Right?
Clout. That's what we're here for. We're here for clout.
I need the follow. So thank you. And I'm also, like you said, I'm followed by somebody else who is verified, and my guy, Armon Sadler. So thank you, man. Appreciate you. And congrats to all your success.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
When people say off season, you go in, you zero dark 30 on some LeBron James playoff shit. That's what you did. And the work shows for itself. So thank y'all for having me here on season 4.
Yeah, man. We're really excited to have you. The episode you and Alex were on was genuinely one of my favorite episodes. We had so many great conversations. And so when this potential partnership was put on the table, I was like, absolutely. This just makes perfect sense. Sure. I genuinely enjoy talking to you. So I'm just like, yeah, let's get this shit popping. So Bald and Busy is here. you niggas in trouble.
Yo, there's a lot of people who don't realize I'm bald.
Yeah, because you always wear hats. You don't be letting it shine, bro. You gotta let it shine.
That's the problem. When you're young and bald, it don't always shine.
Right,
sometimes there's some 5 o'clock shadow and that shit just looks bad.
That's
so,
real.
It's
a lot of maintenance, bro. You keeping I low key gotta hit the razor this weekend, but it's a lot of maintenance.
It's all good. Live your truth, brother.
You feel me? So we have an incredible season. We have a lot of incredible content coming for you all. So thank you, of course, to the listeners for tapping back in. Thank you to any new listeners who are going to be joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you leave a review on Apple. Make sure you hit that save download button so you can get notified when episodes are out. And of course, as well, something that I'm very excited about, we are launching our Patreon finally.
Hey.
We want to give y'all more content. You know, me, SaVon, Nick, we love a lot of different things. On Stay Busy, we be talking about food, wrestling be coming up, relationships, therapy, all that stuff. And so I want our Patreon to be an area where you can hear us talking about different things that you all are interested in as well. Some really fun exclusive content coming for y'all. So that will be launching soon. As soon as you do subscribe, we will have multiple episodes for you, so you don't just come in and be like, all right, well, what did I pay money for? What's here? It's going to be shit there for y'all. So that link will be posted. You could tap in. And thank you in advance to anyone who will be tapping into our Patreon. Make sure you check out all of our busy sessions and our YouTube shorts. Like I said, we had a very active summer bonus episodes as well. Review Drake Honestly Nevermind, interview Coast Contra, HD Been Dope, Uche Malik, Sonny MF, Will Cherry, talked about the DJ Khaled album, talked about male R&B and toxicity and all that. There's a lot of content for y'all that is in the backlog, so make sure that you tap into all of that. Of course, shout out to the team. Nick Early, executive producing at a high level as only he does. Kieran Hurley, VP of everything. Damn, Kieran and Nick's last names rhyme. I never realized that. Nick Early, Kieran Hurley.
Honestly, I was gonna say, are they related? Because I've seen the two of them in a room, and they ain't really looked like they had any relation. But the last names kind of threw me off.
I was like, holy shit. Okay, that's crazy. SaVon DeShields, VP of engagement. Aaliyah Simone, VP data analytics. Jay holding it down on the engineering. Whoa, we got a powerful team. Like I said, you niggas are in trouble. But of course, we got to jump into some whether you likes. First, whether you like of the season. Whether you like air conditioners or fans, watches or wristbands, going with the flow on vacation or making plans, bottled sodas or cans. Brother SaVon, are you an air conditioner guy or a fan guy?
I'm definitely air conditioner. Yeah,
I as well.
I grew up in like treacherous times, and I remember when the fan only blew out like hot air.
Yeah, bro.
Like so
especially the ones that didn't spin, like them stationary fans. You had to angle it right. So
you should be afraid of anybody who prefers fans over air conditioners. Honestly,
that's a savage.
Yeah.
Watches or wristbands?
Surprisingly, wristbands. I think I haven't graduated to the watches just yet. You know, I think that comes with the level of status in certain spaces, right? Especially our space, music, media. You can't walk around with just like anything unless you're into it. So for me, wristbands. And I like to fidget. I like to fidget, and you can't fidget with a watch.
Yeah. Them shit's heavy.
How about you? What about you?
So I stay with a wristband on me. I got a new one that says "Ambition fuels the journey." I love it. Just reading it, just always a motivational thing. But I also keep an Apple Watch on me. On dressy occasions, I'll switch it to I forget the brand of watch. It's a nice one. My dad gave it to me. So I like both, but I've been I've kept a wristband on my wrist for like the entirety of my life. So stay with a wristband. The Apple Watch is a new development.
Got it.
So I'm probably definitely a wristband guy as well.
How about air conditioners?
Oh,
I didn't get your
big air conditioner, man. Okay. When I got an air conditioner in my room when I was young, it felt like a luxury, bro. Because we used to have one of them cheap fans. Like, thankfully, it used to oscillate, but like the fan was never enough. Oscillate. That's a funny word, right? I remember my dad said it one day. I was like, that's a dope word, oscillate.
See, my brain went somewhere else, but I don't think there's the platform for that.
Yeah, save it for Patreon. Save it for Patreon.
All right.
But definitely a big air conditioner guy. Now, vacations. Are you a going with the flow guy, or do you have the itinerary by the hour?
I think it needs to be a balance. I think I can't just go and have nothing to do, but then I also need some time to not do anything. Yeah. So for me, I'm 50-50. If I had to choose, I do like a plan. Okay. I do like a plan on vacation.
I respect that. Yeah. My first time in LA, I had like one big thing per day that I was gonna do, and then typically linking with people, it always evolves into more. Like you go out to dinner, let's go hit a bar after, or you go just. Like it always became more. So I'm definitely a balanced guy as well. But I like to have specific things that I want to do each day, but not like planned by the hour. Because then it starts to not feel like vacation. It's like, I got to be here and I got to be here. And like, I can't be late here. Like, it's too much.
A quick nugget I want to give to people our age and in our spaces that are traveling, right? Do not be afraid of a tour guide. Yeah. Like, look into wherever you go, travel. You get what I'm saying? Don't just try to go out there and freestyle this thing. Yeah. Because I was afraid to like dive into like excursions. That's the word that's the travel word. That's the buzzword when you travel. Use the goddamn excursion pamphlet that they give you when you walk into a hotel. Yeah, man, please.
Yeah, no, I mean, they really do make it easy for you to find shit. Restaurants, sightseeing.
It's just nice.
Like all
it's
that,
like
museums.
I went to Puerto Rico and I would have never understood the beauty of that island if I hadn't done an excursion. They take you into the hills, the mountains, you rock climb, you jumping off cliffs. Like it's so many different things that you see. You think, all right, maybe I'll just walk down the street, I'll bump into it. But it doesn't really work like that because most places that are vacation, there are people who live there. You get what I'm saying? They're residents.
Yeah.
So make sure you do it the right way. Jump on the excursions, get a travel guide, tour guide, and have a blast.
Absolutely. Lastly, bottled soda or a can?
I'm not a soda guy, so I can't answer this, bro.
Okay.
I can't. But when I was, I'm gonna go with the bottle.
Yeah.
It just feels a little cleaner.
Yeah, I don't know. The bottle is different. Like can soda, I don't know. There's something about it. Like, I mean, I'll do it, but the bottle just feel like more fresh. Like, I don't know.
The can is like at a summer barbecue.
Yep.
Like you should only be drinking out of a can if you're outdoors. If you're indoors drinking out of a can, I'm judging you because you really wanted that soda.
Absolutely. Let's jump into this chat. We've been out of office and quite a lot of music has dropped, notable music that is worthy of discussion. Some things, like I said, we touched on in some bonus episodes, but there are things that we didn't get to talk about, and I would like to hear y'all opinions, and I would also like to share my opinion. So, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers, the man came out of his, 5-year hiatus and dropped an album, and Kendrick releases there are very few artists these days that have that when they drop, it feels like a major event. And Kendrick's album very much so felt like an event. You know, he's leaving TDE and just all the hype surrounding it. He dropped the Heart Part 5 leading into it. That had people going crazy. So Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, how'd you feel about Kendrick's album?
I thought it was a complete album. And I think that's high praise for somebody who normally drops complete albums, right? It was lengthy, which I'm not used to Kendrick doing that. I don't think anybody is to that degree. But I thought it was a complete project, and it was nice to see him return.
Yeah. I liked it too. It's with artists like him, like it gets really annoying that first week because it's so much hyperbole. People either love it or they hate it. So I'll feel like if I love it, I'm like defending it. And then if I don't like it, I feel like I'm having to be defensive of my opinion. So I listened to it initially and I liked it, and all the conversation around it bothered me. I revisited it recently in the gym and I was like, oh, this is really fucking good. Like, I'm not a big Kodak fan. He spazzed on Silent Hill, really like that. Purple Hearts, Summer Walker, and Ghostface Killah, love that. Die Hard with Blast and the other featured artists, that's really good. I put that on my promo video for my birthday party, the wrestling one, because it just sounded like the type of song they would have for a wrestling pay-per-view. And like Kendrick's so good at getting into those different bags too. Like he'll give you the rappy rap track like Father Time or N95, and then he'll give you that pop kind of summer type thing. And like people were like, oh, there's no outside music on this. Silent Hill and Die Hard are right there. Like Kendrick gave you a lot of different things on that. There was some controversy with certain things he said, mentioning his aunt being transgender and people responding to that, and the fact that he had Kodak on a song doing an interlude. And you know, one thing I think people don't realize is Kendrick, I mean, and everyone, like, these celebrities be friends with problematic people. Like Kendrick was defending XXXTentacion years ago when Spotify didn't want to have his music on the platform. Like he was like, if y'all don't let his music be streamed, like I'm gonna take my music off Spotify. And like, you know, and I think with this album too, what I really liked is Kendrick showed I'm not this guy who y'all make me out to be. Like people treat him like he's like Malcolm X or like Martin Luther King. Like he's this black, you know, super black, you know, Kufion. Like he literally said, I'm not y'all savior. Like I'm not a perfect dude. I have my flaws. He had the Drake and Kanye line. Like I guess I'm not as mature as I thought I was. Like stuff like that. I really liked that he showed his human side, because he's not perfect. Like he stands for some noble causes. He's a really intelligent dude. He's definitely done a lot for the culture through music, but he's not perfect. So I really appreciated the human. It was a very personal album of his. So I really enjoyed that.
I think Kendrick is such a deep artist, and I know that kind of sounds vague, but just follow me a little bit, right? So a few years ago with the XXX controversy on Spotify, one of the things that I remember sticking out to me is that it wasn't necessarily that he was sticking up for Triple X. It was more so the cause. And I think that's the thing that separates Kendrick from everybody else. It's like, I'm not here to just do things. I'm about the cause. And the cause at that time was, yo, we have all of these artists from different time periods that have done X, Y, and Z, right? That are against humanity. It's nasty, it's atrocious, but we celebrate them. But when it comes to our artists, our community, we're quick to pull some shit down. So if you pull his shit down, pull mine too. Not because I love him, not because I want to support him, and I don't know their relationship, but from an optics, from a front-facing standpoint, it was more so like, all right, cool, just keep that same energy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I love about Kendrick, he is the epitome of keep that same energy. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, in his raps, and his personality, and his performances, every time you see him, you don't really have to question where he stands, who he is, and what he's about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. 100% agree. Beyonce, Renaissance, man. So she dropped Break My Soul in June, right around when Drake dropped Honestly Nevermind, and everyone was like, oh, Drake heard the song, and then he decided to do house music too. I don't give a fuck about that.
What do you feel about that conspiracy, that they both knew that that type of music was coming, that it was planned? Like, what are your thoughts?
Given that he wrote Heated, I'm sure he heard some of the music she was working on.
Okay.
Now, is that kind of vulture-ish? I guess, maybe, but like at the end of the day, like Beyonce don't own house music. Like if Drake want to make house music, he could do it. And he's always had very worldly tastes. Like he spends a lot of time overseas, so I'm sure he's been out in clubs in fucking Ibiza and hearing that shit. And like he's always pushed the envelope musically. Like he's been making different type of music throughout his whole career. So like him doing it made sense, him doing that type of album. But Beyonce come on Renaissance months later. I'm glad that they spaced it out too. Like I've been really sitting with Honestly Nevermind for a while, but Renaissance it's amazing, man. Like that's gonna be on my top albums list at the end of the year. Like that run from Cuff It to I think Cuff It, Energy, and then Break My Soul. Like that's crazy. Heated is amazing. I hope what we did with Thames, WizKid, at Essence in bringing it from 2020 to summer 2021, we gotta do that with Heated into summer 2022 because she dropped at the end of the summer, so we ain't really get to sit with her like that. I ain't here at no day parties, no brunches. I also wasn't outside that much this summer, but Heated we need to bring to summer 2023 because that song is absolutely incredible. Plastic Off the Sofa. I mean, you guys have seen the fucking TikTok challenge. Like, what a vocal performance! Beyonce like showed niggas, and there's been people who've been questioning Beyonce's singing ability.
We can't pay those people any mind.
Like, come on,
dog.
man. Like, come on.
We like
that's just like.
In your intro, you said responsible conversations. Yeah, it's irresponsible to mention those people. Like,
honestly,
we can't even pay those guys.
Like, it's just an objective. Like, shut up, just shut up, man. Like y'all are crazy, but fantastic album. Really, like the whole voguing type music that she did there. I mean, for me personally, my favorite music from Beyonce is her ballads. I love 1+1 records like. Halo and All Cater to You, all that. So I would have loved like one ballad, just one like slow type record, but fantastic music, great production, Thames and Grace Jones there, Beam on it. I definitely would have liked a Drake verse on Heated too, just because I like Drake, and I heard the reference track. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, so I would have loved to see them collab on that, but really, really great album. I'm loving the upbeat energy that artists that Drake, Beyonce, and like Calvin Harris do, because in this era when it's very it's ballads, it's slow, it's very minimalistic, and and I talked about it in the R&B episode. Like R&B has always had an upbeat element to it. Like you want to play R&B that you can hear at a cookout and dance and two-step to. Like not just. It's not always sit in your room and cry music. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just sex music. Like you wanna hear some upbeat stuff too. So I really like that they're kind of bringing that back. Another album that I want to talk about, just 'cause I think it's fantastic. Ari Lennox, Age, Sex, Location. Me and Jay were talking about it a couple weeks ago. Jay, like, I was gonna listen anyways, but the way Jay talked about it, I was like, all right, I gotta play this. And
Jay's a big fan.
Yeah.
Jay shot her shot.
Yeah, met her and everything. Yeah, you working. Shout out to you, Jay. Shout out to See the Thing Is. But I think it's a really fantastic album. I love Shea Butter Baby. And I know that Ari had been working for years, linked up with Jermaine Dupri for Pressure. Like, well, what a great lead single. I wasn't feeling Hoodie that much, so going into it, I was like, all right, like let's see what she's talking. She's talking on Age, Sex, Location. It is a fantastic album. It's a great runtime. I love Lucky Day's feature, Chloe on there. Queen Space with Summer Walker is fantastic. I like that she dropped an EP like a week or two before the album and said like just a little sample to hold y'all over. But really, really great album. Like she might have outdid Shea Butter Baby with this. She really might have. And
oh wow, that's
yeah,
high praise.
Yeah,
that's super high praise.
Yeah,
honestly, I think I love her transition in just becoming her, being comfortable in her.
Yeah.
A lot of the times over the last few years, the headlines were always predicated of outside stories. It wasn't about the music. It was about who she was affiliated with, some of her emotional outbreaks or breakdowns. And those are moments where, you know, we have the luxury of having those behind closed doors, but somebody with those pressures, they don't have that luxury, you know? And you know, I watched her Breakfast Club interview, I want to say a few weeks ago. And she was speaking about, hey, before I signed to J. Cole, I was driving Uber. I was a Lyft driver. You get what I'm saying? Like, and to most people listening, that's a lot more relatable than being a megastar on a label with one of the biggest rappers in the world. So I think it's nuanced. Like, I'm a real big proponent for watching somebody's interview and then listening to the music, because I think it gives you a balance of who they are and what they want to be. And I think she's the perfect blend of that. It's like, all right, this is who I am, this is who I'm becoming, and you get to see my journey, right? So give me grace. Give me grace. And I think her music was a stark reminder of you know, giving artists grace and allowing them to grow.
No, she's very, very human. Like, she's not one of these,
I love it,
these artists who like acts above us and, you know, is living this or acting like she's living a luxurious life. Like, she's very open about everything. Internet gives her shit, a lot of shit for no reason, like talking about her looks and all that. Like,
and she's beautiful.
Yeah, and like I'm just like, yo,
she's fucking
she's
gorgeous.
Talented as hell. She feels like the homie, honestly. Like she dead just feels like the homie. So it's weird for me to see people like trying to knock her down, especially a black woman like in the music industry. They just deal with so much shit. Like, just let's appreciate this talent for who she is and the fact that she's so willing to be vulnerable with us in the way that she is. So Age, Sex, Location is hard. Are You Did Your Thing. J. Cole background vocals on there. Really, really great album. Like, for me, my favorite R&B album for the woman was what's Ella Mai's album called again? Damn, what is it called? I forget what it's called, but that was my favorite. Heart on My Sleeve. Yes, Heart on My Sleeve, Ella Mai. That was my favorite R&B album among the women. And the women been cooking this year. Kehlani, Amber Mark, Raven Lede, Sid. Really great albums from the women this year. But Ari Lennox took the throne from me, so we're really rocking with that. Division, man, whew, they have been the talk of the summer. And listeners, I'm a huge fan. New listeners, if you don't know, I'm a huge Division fan. As a fan, it was really frustrating for me to see that they've been putting out great music for years, and the first time they're trending and a discussion is had about them, it's over If I Get Caught. Now, what will I say about the song? I think the climate of R&B right now, with all these discussions about toxicity and the men are not giving, all that, leading with that, not the best for the climate. Do I think it's a bad song? I don't think it's a bad song. I don't love the song, but it got trashed because conceptually, it was kind of just like, why? Like, why'd you have to do that? You know what I'm saying? Were they saying things that were real and relatable for some people? Sure. I just think the climate and the timing was really, really bad for that. And I think Jermaine Dupri put a tweet out like, if y'all don't appreciate that, y'all don't appreciate R&B and the blues. Like, the one thing I try to tell artists and tell people, don't try to insult listeners' intelligence. Like, if they don't like the song, they just don't like the song. Like, maybe they don't understand R&B and blues, but like, regardless, like, a good song to someone is a good song to someone. If people didn't think it was good, it's just not good. Like, that's all it is. People be trying to explain to people why they dislike something or why they don't have the palate to like something, and that's kind of whack to me. Like, if they don't like it, they don't like it. So, If I Get Caught, they didn't get off to a good start, but the new one, What's Up, featuring Jagged Edge, them niggas back on track. That shit is fantastic. And they previewed it in December. They did an IG live with Justice, because they're managed by Love Renaissance now. And they were playing that joint on repeat. I was like, yo, this is special. Whenever this drops, it's gonna be crazy. Adding the jagged edge background vocals and ad libs on it, it's fantastic. The video, they're really trying to restore the R&B feeling that people want. Like Daniel's literally singing in the rain outside his girl's crib, and it's fantastic. So they definitely got back on track with what's up. So I'm looking forward to this album, man. Executive produced by JD, Brian Michael Cox working with them. They've been in the studio with Usher. So if we get an Usher feature on there, and like with JD's relationship with Mariah Carey, we might get a Division of Mariah Carey record. Like, man, I don't know, but yeah. So they didn't get off to the hottest start. I really like what's up.
I think with Division, so going back to how you kind of started this whole segment or this point was If I Get Caught Cheating, right? For me, that song, it felt like, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but in high school, right? If you were on a sports team and there was always that super senior who got left back and he was a little bit late and he thought he was the man when he was playing against all the underclassmen, but it was just a tad bit late. It's like, bro, like, yeah, it's a nice effort, but you didn't really do it when you were supposed to, how you were supposed to execute it.
Yeah.
That's what that song felt like to me. I think the sample was misplaced, misused. I think that, you know, they took the name Jay-Z and tried to amplify it with saying, hey, we got Jay-Z's blessing, and he thought it was great. Not really realizing, like, whenever an artist gives you the right to sample their music or anything, they get paid from it. So, I mean, I think, and it seems like, and I'm going based off of Jay-Z's current history, which is allowing the game to get 8 samples or something crazy. Like, he's giving out his samples. He's like, yo, reuse my art, right? I think Jay-Z's at a point where he's not as active, so he's allowing the current wave to reuse his art to keep his name in the conversation, just to be relevant. It's all strategic, but that's a whole nother story. With this song in particular, I wasn't a fan like that. Like you, I'm a huge proponent for R&B. I do like Division. I think they're very hit or miss, in my opinion. And this song, for me, was just a big miss. But it hit because it created social commentary.
Yeah.
And
they've never been talked about more than this.
Unfortunately, that's like 60, 70% of the battle in today's climate of being relevant socially. So, very polarizing song, to say the least.
Yeah, but that's good for them, though, because it's really just people weren't paying attention prior. So being polarizing is like people are talking about you for whatever reason. Even if it's negative, it gives you a chance to bounce back, and they bounce back. Having Jagged Edge there, having their blessing, and just the whole rollout, like they're strategically going about it the right way. Just the execution with If I Get Caught, it wasn't there. But
and I hope that they do get the flowers that they deserve, because, you know, a lot of people may not realize or know that they come from the OVO camp, right? And when you're close to something, almost like the Ari Lennox conversation we had, when you're close or a part of something so massive, you can either get lost in translation. People may not really understand you for who you are. So I feel like this was really their introduction to the world. Yeah. And they didn't really get their just due standing next to the biggest artist in the world. So, you know, I'm rooting for their success, but that first song, that shit wasn't it, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that shit was like, yo, that shit came on the other day. I almost crashed my car. I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to hear Hove like this.
Yeah, they didn't use the sample right at all. Like, they might as well have not use it, to be honest. So I agree. 2 things I do want to talk about that weren't on the rundown, but just real quick. Bryson Tiller, man, he put out a new single, Outside, samples Yin Yang Twins, Whisper Song, and that shit is fantastic. Like, it's really great. And he's also featured on Nav's album on Reset. He's featured on ESTG's album on Sabotage. And, you know, there's been a lot of people calling Bryson washed up, saying he's done, he's run out of gas. That nigga's hearing you. Y'all should be afraid. Like, but Bryson's coming back. He's really coming back, and like, you niggas are all going to be like humbled very fast. Like, people trying to historically revise Trap Soul. Oh, Trap Soul wasn't that good. They talking about his sophomore album, True to Self. They're saying all these things about the man. He was one of the biggest things in the world in 2015. Everyone has a story associated with Trap Soul. Everyone was trying to get that Nike hat and bomber jackets because of Bryson Tiller. Like, he was just this thing. And yes, you know, he took time off. He wasn't releasing as consistently as maybe people wanted. But I feel like he's back in a mode. It just feels like the energy is different, and he's like excited about music again. So you niggas should be afraid, yo. Y'all been talking crazy about the boy for real. was really excited about that. I've been really loving Outside. And Future, man, he's on another crazy Future run. Shoot It Myself with ESTG, the song with Real Boston Richie, I Never Liked You. I remember we talked about it with Nick and Nyla, and I was like, it was good. I like it. There's some great songs on there. That's like, it's currently my rap album of the year. Like, that album is growing on me heavily. Chickens with ESTG is fantastic. Future is like, he's it feels like he's like at that level he was in 2015 where like he was the best rapper in the world, like went on that crazy mixtape run. Like he's locked into a different mode right now, and it's just beautiful to see. Like he's really rapping. Like you know, people love the melodies, R&B Future, and like the year that he's having has really made it difficult for me to decide, do I prefer rap Future or R&B Future? Because he's rapping his ass off. Like he's really going crazy. So that's something that I've really enjoyed. But then he We'll Wait For You with Tems and Drake is also one of the biggest songs of the year. Still on the charts. Like it's undeniable. Like Spotify Radio, I'll put on like a rap song, and Spotify Radio will put Wait For You in there. Like the two shouldn't be playing after one another, but it's just like it's algorithmically so big that it's regularly coming on. It's an undeniable song, and that's a great transition into our Song of the Summer discussion. Because I think that's definitely one of the contenders. It's definitely a different type of Song of the Summer. Like it's played outside a lot. It's a little slower though, obviously. Like so it's definitely a unique contender for Song of the Summer. But that's one of my contenders. Obviously, Glorilla, FNF is up there. Burna Boy, Last is just undeniable. Like it's an anthem. It's just one of them things. You go out, you play it, and everyone is screaming that Ebo and Shayo. Like it's just undeniable. So I would say those are my three contenders. Last is probably like objectively the Song of the Summer, but FNF and Wait For You up there too. How about you?
I think definitely Last. I have to put the global reach in there. I'm gonna butcher this, so I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna give a shout out to the Latin community, because anything that Bad Bunny is doing, like again, I went to Puerto Rico, I've been to Mexico, I went to LA. Anywhere that I go, his music is everywhere, right? Huge impact. And then I think the other thing that really gave me the indicator that he's in that conversation is everybody. He sells out stadiums.
Nigga did Yankee Stadium.
He sells out stadiums.
Madison Square Garden, he did, I think.
It's insane. So I want to include two global artists in Bad Bunny and in Burna Boy, and then from like the domestic side, and obviously these are global artists too, but I would like to say definitely Beyonce, Break My Soul. You know, I found myself singing it a few times, and my dad looked at me like, yo fam, who's breaking your soul? Like, what, you good? Like, you're right. So I want to say Beyonce, Break My Soul. And I'll probably leave it there. I feel like we haven't had one of those breakthrough, like this is number one. I guess FNF would be one. And also Ice Spice.
Oh, Munch.
Yeah. I think Munch is another. Yeah, that's a big one too. So shout out to everybody who kind of had, you know, these big summers.
Yeah. A lot of new acts really like getting their praise. Tems has had quite a year. I'm looking forward to her new album. She's working on a debut album right now, so I don't know if it'll be out this year or next year, but I'm looking forward to what she does, because like Free Mind came out what, 2020, and that's been playing right. Like when I first heard it, I thought it was new. I was like, yo, like, and I looked, I was like, this shit came out 2 years ago, and it's still like regularly in rotation. You can't go to a day party or a brunch without hearing Free Mind. So Tems is doing her thing. But listeners, we want to hear from y'all what your vote for Song of the Summer is. So follow us on IG, Twitter @StayBusyPod. We will have some stories up, some tweets up. Let us know. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with us or not, because I really wanna know what y'all was outside being unscrupulous to this summer. So let us know. Let's jump into this slide deck. What we talking, brother Frank Ocean? Damn, Nick. Well, what we at? We at like 1,500 days without Frank. The counter is crazy. Tell you, we need to edit the counter into the video. Oh man, first slide deck of the season. Very excited to play y'all some tunes. We're gonna start with my brother here, SaVon, what you got for us, man?
Hey, man, so I'm a little biased. And as you get to know me, I'm going to lean into my bias. But not only am I biased, but I think, you know, this artist, she deserves, you know, we were talking about women in R&B. And I think she's arrived, but she's also still emerging. And I think there's a lot of ears who would be delighted if they heard some of her music. So this is Kiana Lede, her most recent single, Irresponsible.
Great song, great video. Let's jump in.
Yeah, man, that's Kiana. It's a tune, it's a bop, and she sounds really good. I love the concept of the song. So yeah, please make sure y'all go out, support that. Go support that queen.
Yeah, I really loved her 2020 album, Kiki. That was really good. She had a lot of great features on there. Black, Ari Lennox, Lucky Day was on it.
Yeah.
The video for Irresponsible was really good too. Like I said, yeah, I rock with her. She's like she's definitely one of the girls. Like still someone that people don't really know yet, but they should because she's great. She's absolutely great. So great selection for me. This is one of my favorite songs of the summer. Calvin Harris dropped his album, Funkaway Bounces Volume 2. As a whole, I ain't really rock with the album that much. And it's really hard to live up to the standards of the first one he dropped because that's just like a cult classic, like just incredible. But this record, Obsessed with Charlie Puth and Shenseea, is just fantastic. So we gonna jump into that. Man, whew, that's my shit, bro. Charlie Puth is great. I was supposed to see him. They Global Citizens Fest. He was there. Me and my boy Ness went, but the line was mad long, and waiting in long lines was never my ministry. But especially at this stage in my life, like if I'm going to a show, you got to let me in through another entrance. Like you got to VIP is the minimum. So.
It's levels, man. Show them the badge. Show them the blue check, man.
So,
talk nice when I walk into the spot, right?
So no cap. So I and it was Mariah Carey, Jonas Brothers were there. Like
that's a nice lineup.
Aaliyah. I was excited, but I wasn't waiting in that line. So
that's a nice lineup. And I have 2 fun facts about Charlie Puth and Calvin Harris. So I'll start with Calvin Harris. I'm a huge fan, and I think we need to get back to DJs curating music in that way.
Absolutely.
I think there's a big difference between Calvin Harris and DJ Khaled, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But Calvin Harris, his real name isn't Calvin Harris.
Really?
It's a stage name. And the reason why he chose that name is because he wanted to appeal. And again, this is, let's not take this for fact. Go do your own research. This is something that I read, is he wanted to appeal to a black audience, right? He wanted to have a universal kind of name that translated into the black community, being that, you know, he does music and he collaborates with a lot of artists from our community. So I felt like that was a really dope fact. And Charlie Puth, he's a songwriter, an amazing songwriter. And he actually wrote the song for Trey Songz, Slow Motion.
I didn't know that. That's dope.
He sang, he has a
SaVon
cover.
with the gems.
A little bit, man. You know, I had to bring something to the table. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Charlie Puth, Calvin Harris, those some quick fun facts, man.
That's dope. That's dope. I feel like Calvin is so talented. We would probably embrace him regardless of what his name was. But like Calvin Harris, like that sounds like a fucking receiver for like Alabama. Like that's a football player ass name.
It's the Jamie Foxx effect. Like his name is not Jamie Foxx, but he wanted you to look at the paper and say, "Who the fuck is that?" And Calvin Harris, mission accomplished, bro.
That's hard. That's hard. So yes, that's our slide deck for the week. Of course, you can access those in our slide deck playlist available on all platforms. Forgot to mention the producers. We are very big on shouting out the producers on Stay Busy. Kiana Lede's Irresponsible was produced by Cardiac and Wu-10, and Obsessed was produced by Calvin Harris. Something that people be compared, like SaVon said, people be comparing him and DJ Khaled. And DJ Khaled has produced in the past. He's more of a curator now, but like Calvin writes, produces, mixes, masters, all that shit. So like you give him his flowers. He's not just putting people together. Like he's literally overseeing the entire music making process, which is absolutely amazing because he puts together some great stuff. So yeah, you can access these in our slide deck playlist. Hit the link tree in our IG bio. Artists, of course, if you want to send some slides to us, you can email us at staybusypod@gmail.com or DM us on Twitter or Instagram at staybusypod. First board meeting of season 4. Very, very excited now. We, as y'all are aware, you've been listening to this episode, we have a new face, maybe not a new face to you, but we want to help you get to know our new friend of the show, SaVon, a little better. So we have a game called Balder and Busier. Rapid fire. I'm going to ask you something, you answer. Real simple, you know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
Let's jump into it. Biggest pet peeve?
Liars. Laziness.
Yeah. The L's.
The 2 L's.
If you're a liar and you lazy, you a loser.
Yeah. We might as well triple L. Triple L that, like triple up on it. Yeah.
Like you got to pick a struggle. You can't be a liar and lazy. Like pick a struggle. It's like being mean and ugly. Like come on, man. Like you make it hard to like you.
But that makes sense. Mean and ugly. True. Like I get why you mean because you're ugly. Yeah, right. Like, you can't be a lazy and a liar. Just choose one.
Over under. Tom Brady.
Over. Everything. I mean, I don't even know what the context is, but I'm a huge Brady guy.
It's not looking too hot this season, man. He looked like he don't want to be there. Shit is rough at home.
You know, fellas, have you ever been to the workplace and your girl is just giving you hell at home? Yes. You can't focus. Like we're human. He's human. You can see the stress in his face. So, absolutely. But I'm always riding with my guy. Shout out. And he's the opposite of lazy, right? He's the complete opposite of somebody that's lazy. So, kind of makes sense.
Yeah. He's been great for a long time. Undeniable. I hate him, but he's been great for a long time. Favorite bald celebrity?
You know, I feel like you set me up, so I'm gonna give you a curveball.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a curveball on this one.
Now.
I'm gonna go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh.
Okay. I feel like his baldness supersedes everything else. Because when you see him, you don't think bald, you think The Rock, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't get defined by his baldness, and I think that's what all bald niggas like aspire to do.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want you to see me and see my head. I want you to see me and see me.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I'm gonna give it to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because we just see him for who he is, unlike some of the other people in our community.
Yeah, he's definitely a legendary bald nigga. Like. And it's like you got to be careful what you say to him too, because like his biceps are massive too. Like I think it's just a respect thing. Like if Kevin Hart was bald, people would say it all the time, nigga 5'4". But The Rock, you're not gonna be like, hey, what's up, bald? And like put you in a sharpshooter real quick. Like you don't want those problems. Like
you know what it is? It might be you don't see bald, you see pecs.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You don't see head, you see chest.
Yeah.
You don't see head, you see tries.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to see a nigga from the front and see his triceps.
Yeah, honestly, bro.
Like, that's him. Like, oh my God, how did we get here?
He's different.
Yeah.
Would you rather text message or phone call?
Depending on who it is.
I feel that.
But rapid fire, so I'm gonna just say text. Because I don't want to be on the phone with a lot of people.
Yeah. Some people like will just really talk. Like I like to keep my phone calls quick. Like you get to the point. You know, we can exchange pleasantries, small talk, whatever. But just get to the point. Like, and that's why I really love voice noting because it's like a happy medium between texting and phone call. So if I don't want to text something, I don't want my emotions to be misconstrued, then I'll send you a voice note. But like some people be sending long ass voice notes where it's like we might as well just have a phone call. Like, baby, I love you. Jenny sent me like a 6-minute voice note one day. I was like, oh my God. Whew. I love her though. It's okay. I listen to every second. I always listen to everything. Co-host with the best style on the Need to Know podcast.
Oh, that is tough because all of them have really, really amazing different styles.
So that's a fly ass show, man.
So what I'm gonna say is my criteria is who would I dress like, or who would I want to dress like? Because they all have dope styles. Like Devon Terrell, Reggie, and Alex, they look amazing each and every week. But I'm gonna go with Reggie. I'm gonna give it to Reggie.
Big drip Gina.
I love how Reggie, you know, because you know what it is. She doesn't ever look the same, even if she wears the same fit. Like, she looks like a completely new person every time she steps out the house. I know she puts a lot of thought, a lot of effort into it. And she has the most, I think she's probably the most versatile out of the four of us, meaning she could step into like a ballroom and then go to a hip hop show and then go out to dinner and she'll encapsulate whatever that moment is. So I'm going to give it to the big homie Reggie.
Absolutely.
But don't sleep on Alex and Devon Terrell either.
It's dope that she like makes clothes too. I remember she took like a green pair of basketball shorts and turned it into like a top.
That's
I was
so
like, yo,
fire.
that's different. I wish I had the focus and the time to like make my own clothing. But yeah, Regina's fly as hell. So absolutely. What is a bad habit that you're trying to break?
Ooh, a bad habit that I'm trying to break. Inconsistency.
Okay.
Right? I think that would be the one. I'm very consistent in some areas, but I think for me, I can also be inconsistent because I work at such a high level that sometimes you fall short. And when you fall short, it's like, all right, I'm not falling short because I don't want to do. It's probably because I'm doing great things or good things or aspiring to do something else on the another side. So I think eliminating some of my inconsistent habits.
I feel that. Favorite meme of all time?
Oh, favorite meme. I don't know if it's necessarily a meme, but more like a GIF. You know the Kevin Hart where he's crying and he's laughing and he's reaching out and he looks like he's crying, but he's laughing? No? Is anybody following me? Well, if you type in crying of joy, that meme will come up of Kevin Hart. And he looked, and yeah, I don't know why I relate to that so much, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
Check that one out. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember it in this moment.
That's all good.
And lastly, this is a spicy one. Are you a bald, busy bachelor, or are you bald and betrothed?
I never want to refer to myself as a bachelor, but if this is a speed dating question and you're asking if I'm single, I am currently in that space of exploring and finding my queen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Kiana Lede, you on the clock. You are on the clock, my dear. Yeah. But it's really great to have SaVon here. We have a really, really great season coming for you guys. You know, I think, and he can relate to this as well, podcasting is still relatively new. It is blowing up. Celebrities are all like, yo, we need to have a podcast now. And so as the space evolves and, you know, you start it, you're learning along the way. You're trying different things. You're eliminating things. You're testing different things out. It's fun. It's a great learning experience. I describe it as like a college class with a fucking discussion and with labs and mandatory office hours. Cause if you really want to make something of this, you have to put so much time into this. You have to pay attention to the analytics. You got to look at when your followers are most online to post something. Like there's so much learning going into it. And stay busy. You know, we came in and, you know, I really loved the support that we had. People really fucked with the show. And, you know, one of my favorite things that people say, a compliment for us is like, y'all are so dope. Why aren't y'all bigger? Because I'm like, I love that. I love that y'all see the vision. I love that you see, you know, our high production value, the structure and organization that we put into it. But, you know, I find myself asking myself, why aren't we bigger either? This is the season that we get bigger. This is the season where we really start to move the way that this show, like the trajectory that we know for this show, this is the season where we really take shit to the next level. So having you here is a big, very big part of that. So very thankful for you. And yeah, we're honestly looking to bring in a lot of artists as well. Like doing the Busy Sessions interviews has been fun. So we'll kind of be morphing that into our original content and having more artist interviews here. Some really, really cool stuff. We'll still be bringing on some journalists and some other people because we still want to expose y'all to different areas within the music industry, but really want to talk to more artists and kind of get that in front of y'all, introduce y'all to some cool ones, and then also get some of your favorite artists in here too. So that's the vision for season 4. Now I want to ask, man, I know we talked about this in our meeting when we put it together, but it's kind of like your entrance interview.
Okay.
So you've supported the pod for a while. Like, I'm so thankful. Before we launched, I got to come on Need to Know and promote it. But like, what is it about this show that you were like, I want to sit on this couch and talk with Armon and just be a part of it?
Well, the thing that really intrigued me, outside of like the work ethic of you, Nick, and your entire team, the thing that really intrigued me is just the level of care that you go about the product, right? And so for me, as somebody who's worked in podcasting in all facets, whether it be music, independent, corporate, on air, behind the scenes, like I've literally touched every single aspect of a podcast. So it's easy for me to spot the ones that are going to sink or swim, right? And I feel like, you know, regardless of the numbers, I know you said, hey, why aren't we bigger, right? Those are the questions that you ask yourself. Those are the questions that some of the listeners, supporters ask you. And that's a natural question when doing this and being in this space, especially when you don't already have an audience to translate. And so I think in podcasting, like you'll see some of the celebrities, rappers, entertainers, musicians, actors, they'll do a podcast, but they're just manifesting or bringing transitioning their audience from one to another, where you're building it out the mud, right? People who are being introduced to this podcast are literally being introduced to you for the very first time, and you're establishing connections with them in a way that somebody who was a former artist, athlete, rapper, whatever, they have an advantage. So just to kind of answer your question as simple as possible is because I believe in what you guys are doing. I love the fact that you do have produced responsible conversations, because I think a lot of people in this space have a lot of irresponsible conversations on high levels, mid-tier, whatever level you think about. I feel like, you know, some people just get microphones and they just go and they talk and they don't care about what they put out into the world. And I feel every time you and Nick step into the studio, y'all care about what you put out into the world. And so I only wanted to be a part of something of that magnitude where they care. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about what it could do for me personally. This isn't a personal thing. This is genuine, like, yo, I fuck with what you're doing. I love how you move. I believe in what you do. I'm a fan of you guys. And so I just wanted to be a part of it in any way that you would have me, whether it be behind the scenes or doing this on the microphone. So I hope that answered your question, my brother.
Absolutely did. Regina put out a tweet the other day that I loved. It was, people love letting you know that they hate podcasts. Just stop listening, bro. And I think as we see so many podcasts popping up, a lot of irresponsible ones, like you said, everyone's talking about dating and men eat steaks, women eat salads, like just dumb shit, just a lot of dumb conversation. Like, I understand why people hate podcasting, but all podcasts get looped into it. And I don't ever come out and say, like, we're not like them, like we're different. Like, I don't feel like I have to defend that, because if you listen, then you know. But for you, especially having worked with one of the biggest podcasts in the world, Need to Know is on the rise. Arby's clips going viral, Kim Kardashian retweeting y'all, all that. Like, you're a part of some really big conglomerates. Like, how do you kind of navigate the criticism? Because I'm sure that there'd be some haters in y'all comments sometimes, just saying wild shit. So how do you look at the criticism of podcasting, and how do you navigate it?
I also want to just add HBO podcast.
Yes.
All right. We just had Game of Thrones was #1. I'm a part of that team too. But
yes,
to answer your question,
flex, nigga.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just
the
bit,
resume.
But how do I handle it? Well, you know, a lot of people scrutinize Joe Budden for whatever, or they're huge fans. Like he's one of those polarizing figures. But one of the things that I got to see up close and personal is how he handles it, right? And so I think that prepared me just from watching from afar, seeing some of the things. Like, you know, there's been times where I've seen things online about Joe that I knew were completely false. Completely false, right? And he just had to go about business. You know, he didn't stop in some instances. And, you know, this isn't like a Joe Budden appreciation segment, but, you know, he played a real big part in how I navigate some of the negativity that may come your way, because, you know, he's gone through it at a high level, and being around that, you know, being in those rooms with him while news is breaking about him on the internet, it's like, I don't know how I would function. You know, I feel like, you know, somebody like myself, I'm a little bit more of a recluse when things come my way. And I think seeing that up close and personal on a high scale, it's like, all right, you can weather the storm. You can manage the ship. And also, when you go outside, right, we were blessed to throw a Need to Know podcast mixer this summer, and we got to really touch the people.
Great event.
Thank you. And see the community and know how we affect people's lives. Like, you know, it's still a little bit surreal when people ask to take a picture with me, because I'm like, you know, almost like the Ari Lennox effects. Fam, I was just in my boxes playing 2K. Like, you want a picture with me? Yeah. But I appreciate it, and I understand, you know, the impact that we have on people. So, you know, it's a catch-22. It's a balance, and it's a silver lining and everything. And so I think you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. That's introduction to our guy. Really, really great to be back podding full time. Life has just gotten like really good for me. Like, just to give y'all like a little bit about me this year. Started the year making $16 an hour writing, jumped up to $50 an hour. Now I'm a salaried writer, like on a staff, the Vibe magazine staff, which is incredible. Just look around the office, seeing black people was amazing. Just feeling empowered, feeling valued, like knowing I'm adding value to something that is historic, and it feels like a full story, full circle moment having interned at The Source 5 years ago and working for another historic magazine. So just a lot of elevation around us. And like I said, this season, bigger than ever, busier than ever. So again, really, really happy to be back with y'all podding full time. You are going to see me way more often. Like I said, when that Patreon link comes out, make sure you subscribe to that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Stay Busy. We are Bald and Busy season 4. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited to get going. So for Armon, for the dog SaVon, we want y'all to stay safe, stay humble, stay busy.
Baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world, staying busy, taking time, getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world, staying busy.
Mondays 9 a.m. Party with the gang. Every week, tell a friend. Busy over everything. Busy boys, gotta call now. Ain't you heard? Got the vibes. They put you on. Got the slides. I'm the size. When in doubt, no, we hold it down.
Baby girl, how you feeling?